மரியாதைக்குரிய தமிழ்நாட்டின் மாநிலர் மற்றும் அதிபர் டாக்டர் அம்பேத்கர் சட்ட பல்கலைக்கழகம் ஸ்ரீ பன்வர்லால் புரோஹித் அவர்களே, டாக்டர் அம்பேத்கர் சட்ட பல்கலைக்கழக துணைவேந்தர் புரொஃபசர் டி.என்.ஆர். சாஸ்திரி அவர்களே, அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். டாக்டர் அம்பேத்கர் சட்ட பல்கலைக்கழகம் 11வது பட்டிமளிப்பு விழாவில் நான் உங்களுடன் கலந்து கொள்வதில் மிக்க மகிழ்ச்சி அடைகிறேன். இந்த சந்தர்ப்பத்தில் இங்கு வந்திருக்கும் பெற்றோர்களுக்கும் ஆசிரியர்களுக்கும் மாணவர்களுக்கும் என்னுடைய மனமார்ந்த வாழ்த்துக்கள். I personally feel that everybody should speak in mother tongue, promote mother tongue, protect mother tongue, and feel proud of speaking in mother tongue. That do not mean that we should not learn other languages. We should learn as many languages as possible, including English. But we should give importance to our mother tongue. Whatever language it is, mother tongue, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayali, Marathi, Assami, Punjabi, Bhojpuri, Dogri, Kashmiri, whatever, Urdu, whatever languages, we should feel proud. My dear members of the Senate, syndicate, members of the judiciary, members of the faculty, students, and dear sisters and brothers, it gives me immense pleasure to take part in this 11th convocation of the Tamil Nadu Dr. Ambedkar Law University. At the outset, let me congratulate all the graduating students who are receiving various degrees, awards, and distinctions from these great institutions. I compliment the Vice Chancellor and all the faculty members of the institution who have been shaping this university into a center of excellence. I am particularly happy to see a lot of these award winners are girls. We need to promote girls' education in a big way and promote them. Given an opportunity, they will also excel. This is one example. The convocation is an important occasion. I am also happy to note that a large number of alumni of this institution are holding important positions in public life as legislators and administrators, teachers and researchers, apart from being distinguished members of the bar and the bench. My dear sisters and brothers, the concept of law is embedded in our ethos since time immemorial, evident in our age-old adage, Dharmo Rakshiti Rakshitaha. Our law protects us if we preserve its sanctity. In other words, if we follow the laws, we shall live orderly and peaceful lives. The preamble of our Constitution is an eloquent expression of our resolve of securing justice to our people. In our diplomacy, we continue to stand steadfast to promote a peaceful, harmonious, and rule-based world order. Let me also recall the wisdom of the illustrious saint Thiruvalluvar, who defined good governance in the following verse in Tirukkural. Vandu kannodadu irai purandu yarmuttum tende saivadde murai, which means a sound judicial system is one which is based on an objective inquiry, dispassionate analysis of evidence and delivery of even-handed justice to all citizens. On this occasion, I recall that I was also a student of law once planning to become an advocate. But due to circumstances of emergency period, I had to fight for the people's cause and eventually took up a legislative career instead of a legal career. But I continue to have a great attachment with the field, and so it's a great pleasure to be among the legal fraternity today. My dear young friends, as you move out of portals of this academic institution, please retain the ability to excel in your profession. Do not settle for mediocrity. At a graduating ceremony, somewhat similar to the one the gurus of Upanishads age has advised the students, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, Swadhyayan, Mahapramadaha. Speak the truth, live a virtuous life, and do not stop learning. Learning is a continuous process. Learn even while you earn also. Because world is changing faster, technology is fast advancing, and new challenges are emerging, and new opportunities are coming. We must go on learning. I would like to add, do not be complacent. Try to constantly be among the best. Do not rest before becoming the best. Empathy and excellence, ethics and enthusiasm should guide your actions. As Gandhiji reminded us in his talisman, the poorest man in want of justice must be the prime mover of your thoughts and actions, not temporary exigencies or the material temptations. My dear sisters and brothers, you have a unique opportunity to deepen our country's democratic roots. You can make judicial system more accessible, affordable, understandable to every citizen. The cost of legal process is a major impediment in making justice accessible to all. A common perception is that there are many hidden costs in availing legal route to resolve disputes. We have to find ways to reduce this out-of-pocket expenditure to the common citizen. There is also a serious issue of protracted litigation, unending litigation, timeless in rendering justice, timeliness. If it is timeless, you can understand the agony. So timeliness in rendering justice is a major concern. As the maxim goes, justice delayed is justice denied. We have been talking about it. But we are not able to achieve justice without any delay at all. This delay is often attributed to huge pendency in courts, frequent adjournments, and long leaves of the courts. People say it, but at the same time, this pendency is because of variety of reasons. I am also aware of it. Everybody concerned should perform their responsibility. The government, the judiciary, or the collegiums, or the concerned, they should perform their responsibility in time. We have to address this problem of inordinate delay and do whatever is possible in our purview to ensure speedier justice. Some time back, while interacting, one of the Supreme Court judges told me that he heard a case of 22 years old. 22 years. This is only one example. So we must all strive to see that justice is made available to the people on time. There are no silver bullet to all these problems. We must find systematic solutions to these challenges. For better access, more courts, special benches, and adequately staffed courts with all posts filled up are required. Innovations like Lok Adalats and mobile courts have to be leveraged upon wherever is feasible. The system needs to be demystified and brought closer to the people by conducting court proceedings and delivering judgments in the language of the people. The advocate is arguing the case, but the client do not know what the advocate is arguing. We must slowly move towards having local language in all courts. You can have simultaneous translation. Nowadays technology is so advanced. And also the books, the judgments, earlier judgments should be printed, published in the local language. I felt happy when I heard the Prime Minister yesterday saying that medicine, engineering also are going to be taught in the vernacular languages. Similarly, the case of legal fraternity also should move in that direction. I am very much in favor of it. And it's not a big task, I can tell you. If you wish, you can. So all the people concerned should work in that direction. We must strive hard to reduce the out-of-pocket expenditure for the underprivileged. Legal and mechanisms may need to be more streamlined, legal aid. Some of you may choose to do public service by accepting cases of poor litigants pro bono and render free legal aid to needy litigants. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. So everybody should spare some time, valuable time, and also some of their wealth with the other people who are not fortunate to have it. So that's why I say that our age-old tradition of share and care is very important. We have also to address the delay in our courts. I understand that there is a lot of pendency of nearly 4 crore cases in our judicial system at various levels. Cases have accumulated over the years, and most of these are petty cases in the lower courts, where around 87% of the total pendency cases lie. The judicial system must evolve methods for the speedy disposal of these cases. More avenues may have to be created for quick resolution of disputes. Frequent adjournments could be avoided, and except in extraordinary situation, we can develop a standard operating procedure that limits the number of adjournment to a reasonable number, like 1 or 2. You may think 1 or 2, yes. Why should there be any adjournment at all? Unless on health grounds or for reasons beyond your control. Otherwise, this delay is going to continue. Simultaneously, alternative dispute redressal mechanisms like Lok Adalats may have to be fully leveraged. Appointments to the court should also be expedited and vacancies to be filled in a time-bound manner at various levels. This will bring great productivity gains, especially in the lower courts where most of pending cases lie. Speedier judicial process will not only provide timely justice to the aggrieved persons, but also improve the business environment in the country. Now we have opened up. When we open up, you must see to it that any litigation that comes to you at any level is disposed of at the earliest. We have to improve our economy to make it self-sustainable. Atmanirbhar Bharat is in that direction. And the economy has to become strong. And also it should reach all sections of the people. For that, speedy justice at every level is equally important for the investments to be made. And we have already become an attractive destination for investments. We must make it more attractive so that the investment comes and wealth grows and then it flows to downstream. That is what is required. What is required is not mere creation of wealth. Wealth along health, we need happiness. Happiness comes out of speedy justice, speedy delivery of the promises made by the government, speedy and without delay reaching of the benefits of the government from time to time. That is what is required. The direct benefit transfer, the Janadhana Adhar JAM, or the other things are aimed at reaching people timely. My dear sisters and brothers, the world is looking at India as a prime investment destination, as I have said. In order to cement our place in the world of business, along with a predictable policy regime, we must also ensure a sound, hassle-free judicial system which can dispose of appeals in a time-bound manner. Dear sisters and brothers, I feel that the issue of law of torts has not received adequate attention in our country. It is an important branch of law in many developed countries as it protects the consumers and ensures quality assurance. Misleading advertisements of products making exaggerated and tall claims are a matter of great concern. It's a very important aspect. You see every day misleading advertisement. And then prominent personalities, icons, they come and then promote the brand. Do they give guarantee for the quality? This is a matter of concern, and this people in the legal profession has to focus on this. And also, the time has come that we must move towards strengthening the laws relating to protecting the interests of the consumers. I also feel the importance of public interest litigations should not be diluted. They should not be allowed to be filled routinely on trivial issues, and courts should not entertain such trivial litigation. Sometimes people complain, sir, there are a lot of cases pending, and suddenly these people, they file petitions. Rich people can afford to go. Political people can easily, and interested parties. Public interest litigation often sometimes becomes personal interest litigation. Such things should not be encouraged at all, though PAL is an important instrument. Emphasis must be laid on disposal of criminal cases in a speedy, dispassionate, objective manner to restore public confidence in the fairness and effectiveness of the system. Special courts can be constituted to exclusively deal with criminal cases involving public servants and elected representatives in a time-bound manner. We have been talking about for long. We must move in the direction of creating special courts to deal with the cases of elected representatives. We have seen how cases are prolonged for years, and even of people who are there in the public life. Separate fast-track courts can also be set up to resolve electoral cases and to look into electoral malpractices. Someone has brought to my notice 2009 election petition, 9, 14, 19, and now we are in 22. Still pending. He told me the name of the case also. I don't want to go into the case of this state. There has to be special arrangement, particularly electoral disputes, and sometimes you get judgment after tenure is over. The new man is elected. That's not at all a healthy thing. And another thing is, even I find sometimes, even legislature, defections, cases, they have to be dealt in an expeditious manner, even the presiding officer. A case came to me, I disposed it of within 3 months. I disposed it of within 1 month and wrote that all such cases should be disposed within 3 months period. But the matter went to court. 3 years going on. So this has to be seriously looked into. Climate change has emerged as a major concern and needs to be addressed by all of us. Climate change is real. It is threatening. We have just now experienced a major pandemic. So all of us should focus on those climate-related matters also. There is a need to bring more awareness about climate protection laws. We need to leverage the reach of social media platforms in this regard. Sisters and brothers, technology can be a major driving force for improving justice delivery. As young graduates, you must lead this wave of new innovations in legal jurisprudence and fully leverage it to improve access, lower costs and reduce pendency. Reform, perform and transform is the new mantra given by the Prime Minister. Transformation in every sense. Transformation for betterment of the lives of the people. That is the purpose. To begin with, both bar and bench should effectively utilize information and communication technologies, ICT. Digitization of all court records under National Judicial Data Grid must be expedited. The practice of online courts and e-filing was accelerated during COVID pandemic, and they can continue to serve us greatly in not only improving the case of access to justice, but also reducing the associated costs and improving the case of doing business. I am not saying that we should continue with that online and physical. Time has come to go for physical also, but there has to be a hybrid system. To expedite, this has to be understood by all. Finally, we must understand that the lawyers and courts alone cannot deliver justice to our people. There is always anything happening. There is a clamor, bring new law, new law. We have seen some of the cases. New laws are brought in. But what happened? Nirbhaya. So I remember I was in Parliament at that time, of course now as presiding officer. When everybody was saying bring a new law, I said I am not against new law. What is required is not a new bill, political will, administrative skill, then go for the kill of the social evil. We must create awareness among the people. And whatever bill we pass, we must see to it that it is translated into action. Speedy justice, then only there is a meaning. Otherwise, adding on to the loss will be a loss. LOSS. So, we must also go for police reforms, and also jail modernization should go hand in hand with reforms in the judicial system. Legal institutions and education must also be tailored to meet the modern demands, for instance, expertise in cybercrime, intellectual property violations, international law. Young and old practitioners alike must also try to specialize in these fields to enhance their professional competence. I am happy to note that this university has introduced a 5-year integrated program of Bachelor of Computer Applications and Law in order to train the future lawyers to be competent, front-ranking legal professionals in the emerging world where technology will continue to be an important tool to improve governance. My dear youngsters, before I conclude, I wish to highlight a few things that warrant our attention. We must leave the colonial mindset. I am of the opinion that dress in the courts, also in convocation, must also be slowly Indianized. Bharati. I am not prescribing a dress code. I leave it to the institutions. Some of the institutions have already started. And also even the words also, my lord. You can say Honorable Justice, Honorable Chief Justice. I also tell my people, and they say Your Excellency. I said whether he is excellent or not, that will be known later. But first, these are all British people they have given, because they wanted to be called Excellency. Lord. Even the books also there, Lord so-and-so. I said, don't use the Lord word, say Mr. so-and-so. About Britishers, some of our history books. We must come out of this, some of these practices. High ethical standards and exemplary conduct must be the norm, be it in judiciary, legislature or executive. People in public life and high positions must set an example to others by maintaining high standards. High standard cannot be achieved only by dress, by attire. So, when I became Vice President, people started asking me, so media people, you know how media, they try to get something juicy. So they said, Sir, now you have become Vice President. I said, yes, I have become Vice President. Sir, now Vice President. I said, Vice President Babu, tell me what is your question? Sir, now you have become Vice President, what about dress? I said, no change of dress, only change of address. From 30 Abdul Kalam Road to 6 Maulana Azad Road. The same dress. And I go to international conference also, except extreme weather conditions and all. That is not going to enhance or reduce your stature. We must be traditional in our own way. Of course, dignified, decent. And also, the people in public life, they must set examples. I was distressed by recent happenings yesterday in Himachal legislature. And also a few other states, I don't want to quote all those states. Even sometimes it happened in Parliament also, in my house. I urge upon all public representatives to conduct themselves in a decent and dignified manner in every forum. Otherwise, the people might get disillusioned with our polity soon. Frequent disruption and stalling of legislative proceedings would not serve any purpose, and everyone must realize that the only way forward for every problem is discuss, debate and decide, not disrupt. This has to be understood by all. So, not only legislature, judiciary, executive, academic institutions, everybody must try to work in a dignified manner, conduct themselves in a dignified manner, in a decent manner. The cases related to atrocities against weaker sections, especially women and children, they should be accorded priority and dealt with expeditiously. There is also a need to bring about a change in the mindset of the people, as merely enacting laws would not all completely address the issue. I am happy, friends, to be with you at this 11th convocation, but for this pandemic, we would have had a much larger meeting and greeting, interaction, because physical is physical. Whatever you may say, virtual is not actual, but it has become factual. It has become factual world over because of this distance, wearing mask, following the guidelines issued. They are the need of the hour, and everyone should follow it. I would have been happy because your Vice Chancellor met me, and the Governor also was very particular that I should attend the convocation of this university. So I was also happy because of my law background. Finally, I could come today and attend your convocation. University is named after a great son of this soil, one of the most eminent jurists India has ever seen, and the chief architect of the Indian Constitution, Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar. To truly fulfill Baba Sahib's dreams for our republic, we need to ensure that high ideals of our Constitution are implemented in true spirit so that they reach every person in the country. India is at a critical transformative phase and it's in its developmental journey. India is being recognized, respected more and more worldwide. And we have a great future and we had a great past also. People from across the globe, they used to come to India and study. Those days, Nalanda, Takshashila, Pushpagiri, Vikramshila, many more institutions. We must again reach that stage by working hard. We not only reflect on our past experience and strengthen each organs of the state, we must also envisage the future challenges and be prepared. Judiciary is a key pillar of our polity and it's our duty to ensure that we collectively improve the process and achieve higher levels of effectiveness and efficiency. We need to bring it much closer to people who need its services. We need to refine our systems to make them citizen-friendly. We need to, if needed, reinvent, revamp and redefine the way we administer justice and enforce the rule of law to meet the need of an aspirational, resurgent India. I am sure that as students of law, you will always strive for positive social change. Be positive, not the present COVID positive, but should not be negative in your approach. Positiveness gives you happiness. Happiness makes you to work hard. Be happy, make your parents happy, and also make your clients happy, and also public happy. I wish the university keeps its record of excellence and achieve many more laurels in the years to come. My best wishes to all of you. God bless you, my children, youngsters. Thank you very much. Namaskar, Nandri, Vanakkam.